Welcome back, YouTube fans. I'm back at Uncle Joe's on the B61. I guess he's still in the house, but I looked in there and looks like he's been real busy since last Thursday. Again, want to welcome you to my page, Bros Garage. I fix and stuff. So yeah, today we're in here gonna play with the Mack some more. Our objective is to get it out of the building, hopefully to drive it out that door. And once we drive it out that door, we're going to drive it. He's going to drive it a little bit. The twin sticks kind of run. I could probably figure it out, but it's his baby. So we're going to drive it down the road. We're going to check the transmission out, make sure the motor works, and just make sure it's functioning right. And then we're going to leave it outside, pull it over here just a little bit to the side of the building, and we're going to start disassembling the cab, get the cab off. He has a right here, this thingamabob right here is a rotisserie for a car. We're going to hook that up some way best we can, so that the dustless blaster guy can come in and blast it along with the frame. And we're gonna paint it, and then we're gonna put the cab back on. You get the gist. We're headed in the right direction. And in other videos, we were able to get it to run, bottle feed it. And I'll show you what all he's doing right now, because like I said, he's still in the house. I haven't talked to him, but I can obviously tell he is excited. This project has sat here for so long, he just kind of left it, and I've been coming over here kind of pushing him to help him. So by the look of the amount of work he did this week, he's excited, and I'm excited for him. So let's get there. I'm gonna turn this phone around and I'll show you what looks like, and he can probably explain it better, but I see a lot of change in what we had going on last Thursday to this Thursday. Here we go. Okay, let me walk you through what I see and see if y'all see any change. Y'all look at that pump, and you can tell he hasn't. You can look at that bolt right there. He hasn't taken that pump off, but it sure looks like he's done a bunch of stuff to it. I see shiny bolts here. I see pipe dope. All right, what else do I see? I think he's got water in this bad boy. He's even put a temp gauge. He has been busy. So he's got a temp gauge hooked up back in there. I can't tell if it has water in it, but he said the heater hoses were unhooked, and he had to cap them off. Well, here's the heater hoses. So I'm sure they went down in there somewhere. Here's maybe one or something, I don't know. So he's done that. He even put a little cappy thing over the top of the speedometer, because that thing was actually sitting there spinning the other day inside there when we was running it. So it looks like he's cleaned it up. We still got the Holly fuel pump, and he's actually even changed. He's feeding it real diesel instead of diesel he pulled out of old junkie something or other years ago and saved the diesel. So this is probably like brand new diesel. So we're bottle feeding it with clean diesel. And what else? Here's what I was talking about. Here's your heater hoses. They went from here to here. He has made a loop, so I'm pretty sure he's got water in it. Well, I can't wait for him to get out here. Of course, the batteries right now are unhooked, so we don't burn the place down. And we were fussing about the stack. The stack's gone. So he has taken the time to actually look at this. He has taken an old piece of pipe that he had, or that one probably come around here to the stack, and he's hooked it to some old stove pipe and run it out the door, and even he even went as far as to put a bracket on this old door that's going to get tore down. And look at the screws. I mean, most people would just, if they're trying to vent smoke, they wouldn't even put screws in it. They just hooked it up, maybe throw some duct tape on it. But he's highly motivated if he's putting screws in ductwork. So, can't wait for him to get out here and explain what he has done. Of course, we got the little push button starter, remote starter, and we did put a 12-volt starter. Yeah, you can't see it down in there. We put a 12-volt starter on, and we made up some all new battery leads before he got this crimper off of online, and here he comes. It's fixing to get real, guys. I'll be back in a minute. We'll talk about it. All right, so Uncle Joe's going to give us a quick rundown of what he has done, and we'll figure this out real quick. So,
okay, the engine wouldn't throttle up.
Okay.
You have to keep ethering it to keep it running, and then it would finally, like it picked up fuel, and it would run on its own. So what I basically did on the governor back here, the mechanical governor, I took the top off to get. There's called a fulcrum in there. That mechanical governor moves that fulcrum back and forth, and so does the throttle. The fulcrum was stuck, wouldn't move. It has a rod internally in here that goes into that fulcrum and runs up here into this unit controller, is what Mack calls it, or Bosch, American Bosch calls it. It's not Mack, but there's a lever on it, and there's a shaft that runs through here. And by the governor or this throttle moves that fulcrum, and then the rod attached to the fulcrum moves this right here. It moves counterclockwise to make more fuel come into the delivery valve, and that delivers it to these injector lines. So I got that freed up with just some brake cleaner, spraying in there and working with it. The engine also the governor wants to keep revving it up. So I put a spring on it to kind of hold back against the governor, put a little tension on the throttle. But once you get it started on ether and it runs for a little bit on ether, it'll pick up fuel. And as long as you keep it at about half throttle, the engine will keep running. But if you let it back to a certain point, the engine just dies. Like there's something up in here that's stuck.
what was you telling me about this right here again?
Okay, and this is what is called an overflow valve right here. There is what they call a needle, and it looks like a little piston with a point on it, to a tapered, chamfered on the end, and a spring. I took that apart, and the spring and the needle was in backwards.
Okay.
So the pump never could build up pressure on the head right here, the mechanical pump. When you shut the engine off, that seat, that needle, and this spring are supposed to close and hold pressure on that head, so the next time you start it, you've got pressure there. You don't have to wait till that mechanical pump runs and builds pressure up. You've already got the pressure to it, make it start quicker. The thing I found about it, while it's running, this pump here, this electric pump we put on here, because this one is not pumping like it should, it can't build enough pressure to overcome that spring and that seat. Nothing comes out of here and goes back on the return line.
Oh, okay. So this pump is 3 to 7 psi, and it needs to be.
It must need more.
Maybe that's why they had that reverse, because they never could get enough pressure.
Well, if they'd have left this like it was and left the mechanical pump on there, it would have finally probably built up enough pressure. That is saying that this relief valve on it is not stuck and bypassing.
Okay.
I don't know that because I've never had that off yet.
Okay.
But I'm thinking that
I see you got that capped off right there.
I've got it just capped off.
Yeah,
But we're going to have to do something about that because even if we leave an electric pump on it, this needs diesel fuel going through it because this is going to be turning just like this pump is.
And it'll dry. It'll wear
run
down.
dry and it'll
Yeah.
wear the seals out and the gears and everything else in it.
Well, it looks like it's just a couple bolts there, and
There's really no way to eliminate it because there's a bearing back here that carries this end of that shaft.
So, but it really wouldn't. We won't have to take the pump off to get and kind of redo this. Maybe put some seals in this little pump because it's liable to be sucking a little air right in here. And
yeah.
so there's a possibility we can put some O-rings on it or whatever, and look at it and
We'd have to look at it and see.
But
main thing for now is to get the engine to run on its own and idle down like it should,
so you can drive it,
so it can be driven.
and then
And see what.
once we do that, possibly maybe pull this pump and have it redone, or find another pump, or take it off and put it on a bench, or play with it some more and see where we can get with it.
Yeah. There's several options. What I'm thinking is I've got an inline pump, American Bosch inline pump on another 673 out here. I can take it off and put it on here, but I'll have to retime it to this engine. But all the injector lines are going to have to come off. This water manifold's got to come off to get all them lines up out of there. And I'd rather not go there if I can get this pump working.
Correct. All right.
Because then you don't know what that pump is either until you get it on there. One thing about the inline pumps, they, from what I've seen, is they're easier to get unstuck. You've got a plate that runs all the way down the length of it. You take that plate off, and there's a camshaft that runs all the way down through it with lobes on it. And each
It's like a Cummins pump, isn't it?
yeah, it's just like a P pump on
Like
a
a
Cummins.
P-pump's Cummins. It's
Yeah.
got
Individual
like a
lifters
cam, lifters that are
for
firing.
each one.
This has got a one cup, and it's just letting fuel in there, and it's sitting there spinning.
It's turning,
to the
and a
different
sleeve is
one.
going up and down.
Yeah, yeah.
But with the inline pumps, a lot of times what happens is when they sit for a long period of time, if that plunger, it's a roller lifter, and if it's sitting on the high part of the cam, it's got the spring compressed. And when you go to turn it over, that spring just stays up, the plunger's stuck. It won't come back down. But you can stick a screwdriver in there in a spring and hit it with a hammer and knock it loose. Spray some brake cleaner or something on it.
Yeah.
And get them freed up pretty easy.
Yeah.
But this pump's not quite that simple.
Yeah.
A little more to it.
All right, so looks like you got the heater core bypassed. It's just a loop, got some water in it. I saw you got a oil pressure gauge.
I put an oil temperature gauge. I'm not a water temperature gauge on it to make sure it's not getting hot.
Oh, it's water temperature. I didn't. I wasn't paying attention. I just.
It is a Canadian water temperature gauge. If you look at it, you'll see it's got Celsius at the top,
Oh my goodness.
Fahrenheit on the bottom.
Yeah, stupid
So it ought to be a
Canadians.
good one if it comes from Canada, wouldn't
Uh,
it? It should be a good one if it came from
I came from Canada. I actually just talked to a sales lady in Canada over a UTV axle, and she sounded like from Upper Peninsula. She's like, "Hey, what size is it, eh? Yeah, eh?
What's it about?
Bloody Ray, yeah, hey." I'm like, "What's the bolt?
Are you out and about?
Are you out and about?" Yeah, us country boys making fun of some Canadians. Y'all
They
come
make
in.
fun of us when we talk anyway.
Yeah, we're just getting back at you. So looks like we about ready to try her and see if any of that helped or run her a little bit, or what's our plan,
Well,
Joe?
we're going to try to start it here in a minute.
Okay.
See how long it'll run for, and see if it'll start freeing up any.
See if it'll open up the thermostat, maybe get some more water in it if we need to, or we're getting closer and closer to heading out the door with it, I think. Got to put his batteries back together. So when we get ready to start this, I'll come back to the channel and let you guys see what all we're doing. He's just gonna hook up the batteries real quick, and when we get ready to start, I'll start it again. All right, we're gonna try to give her a shot and see what Joe's got. I'm gonna get up here a little closer because I notice my videos are not really up in depth. So we're gonna get in here and yeah. All right. Is the pump pumping?
No.
All right. So we got that little toggle switch right there.
Work these at the same time.
Are you gonna do that? Okay. All right. I got the pump on.
And a fuse. That piece of pipe still on back there?
Yeah, it's still on. Hey, you want me to go ahead and open that door real quick? Let's do that real quick.
All right.
I'm gonna open the top layer of that, get some air. Why'd it do that?
But it acts like it's just supposed to get the fuel. I don't know. How you doing, Lee?
Good, you?
Okay.
Having fun?
Yeah, all the time.
That's neat.
You wanted that?
No, you was doing this, and I thought you wanted to try and throw me.
Oh.
What model is this? 52, 55, 57, and a...
I really don't know what year it is, because they all look alike. It's somewhere between a 53 and a 56.
Somewhere between a 53 and a 66. So we developed a leak down in there.
It's hard to say.
It died on its own. I don't know if you guys saw that I was getting some liquid out of the thing, but it's backfired a few times, and that seems to be diesel. It smells like diesel. But we got a neighbor come over, Avery Brown, come over to check us out. And we're just going to keep on trying to run it. We may end up having to do something, get some more fuel to it. We're going to try to figure that out, but it did seem like it ran out of fuel. So I'll we'll get back when we do something fun. See you. All right, we're gonna. They went off doing something. I'm gonna run it. We're just kind of continuing to run it, but we're pretty sure it doesn't have enough fuel pressure or volume, because there's nothing coming back from the return on the injectors. We're trying to think out loud that it should be enough up there to run it, plus some bypassing. And after this pump runs for a few minutes, it actually it's ticking. You can hear it ticking, but it seems to be loading up, like it's pressuring up. So it's been running a minute. I'm gonna try to start it and run it for a few minutes, and we'll see where we're at. Now here's my theory. I let that fuel pump run a long time before I started it. To give it time to get a head start and build pressure. And I never idled it up. And it stayed at a high throttle, stay high throttle. But when I started throttling that thing, it started using more fuel and that pressure went down. I'm just theorizing. If we had a higher pressure to start with, I believe this thing would sit here and run. That's my theory.
Well, here's my theory about it.
I like that the brakes are, you can hear the chambers back there trying to do something.
Well, it only got just a little under 30 pounds on it.
Yeah,
And now it's done gone.
yeah. Well, there's a major leak back there.
At least the brake valve is working down
Yeah.
here. That's one good thing. But see, this thing doesn't have spring brakes on it.
Okay.
The only brake you got is this old emergency brake, which ain't even working right here.
Is it drive? It's a drive shaft brake.
It's a drum on it,
Oh.
back tailing transmission
Yeah.
on the drive shaft. The thing about it is, if you lose air pressure, you got no brakes. Ain't no spring brakes to stop it.
You got to use the electric. I mean the manual brake.
on here.
So what was your theory on the fuel issue?
My theory is that pump is not delivering enough pressure to run it. Why does it run so good when you keep it revved up? That has nothing to do with the electric pump. If it should be right the opposite. If it's not enough fuel pressure, it should let it run. It'll idle, but when you throttle it up, it shouldn't want to throttle up because it ain't getting enough fuel. But if it'll run at a fast speed, it ought to run at a low speed. What do you say?
Like I said before, when I ran the pump for a long time and I heard the pump change like it was loading up, like it had done pumped all it could pump, because when you first turn on it, click, 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 and then it starts and it's like you can tell there's pressure in there. Maybe we need to put a pressure gauge on it, but it's a new pump, so it's probably giving 6 or 7 pounds. But now,
Probably.
theorize this: if it's pumping up, say 7 pounds, and we idle it up, and 7 pounds is enough to keep it idled up. But when you start putting that gas pedal down, that 7 pounds ends up bleeding off down to 5, and it never can catch up. You've done bled that 2 pounds off, and it can't catch up while it's idle. 7 pounds is bare minimum for idle, because it ran forever. It's ran probably the longest it's ever run.
Why does it run at a higher speed and do okay?
It will for a few minutes till the pressure's gone, and then it'll do what it just did. It'll just finally die out because it ain't got enough pressure. Because you're peeling pressure off because you're at your. This is my theory. You're at your maximum amount of volume at 7 psi that pump's putting out. So when you rev the motor on the regular manual pump that's on the injector, it pumps more. You see what I'm saying? And now we're just locked in at 7 psi. So when we throttle it, we don't have that extra pressure to feed more. That's why I'm saying 7 psi is the bare minimum, and it ain't even enough to idle it at a lower idle. Because the pump's so weak, leaking so bad. You got to have that little bit higher pressure for it to work. It's just my theory. I don't know. Some of these guys on YouTube, I guarantee you they'll point it out. No, this is your problem. But hey, we welcome them comments. We want to hear it. But anyway, I'm gonna go around and turn this fuel pump off. I think we just come to a conclusion. And you guys can see we warmed it up to a little over 170 degrees. The water is still doing good. It didn't go anywhere. It idled for probably 17 minutes and nothing happened. It didn't die till we started trying to throttle it. So 3 to 7 psi right here. We got a little leak down there on the back hose. One of these little hoses right here is a street L back there, and it's been wiggled so much, it's leaking. It needs to be tightened up. But we gotta fix a fuel delivery issue. So we may end up trying to find something that'll put out more volume. Because right now, this is the bypass, and that's all the amount of fuel that's coming through that spring-loaded valve in here. You got to have enough pressure coming in this line to overcome that spring for it to bypass back. And as you can tell, it's not doing it. So, 7 psi is probably not enough to run this pump, but hey, we're headed in the right direction. We're doing something. We're moving in the right direction. So we'll be figuring out what we're going to do on the fuel delivery, or figure out something else. But yeah, we're hoping to get it out of the building here soon. See what we can do about. I don't know. We may end up having to rebuild this the original pump the pickup pump. We may have to slip that off the back, put some new guts in it or something if we can find some guts. Get it to pump in the right pressure so that when the motor speeds up, it puts more fuel up there. When the motor slows down, it takes the fuel away. Right now, we just have a constant, and I personally don't think that's right, but we're gonna shut that pump off right there, and that'll probably do it for this episode. Thank you. Hey, like and share, subscribe to the channel. Guys, I appreciate you looking at it. If you want to see more content, like and share it, comment below. All you diesel guys that are going to look at this and you're just like, hey, we're not vain. Don't call us idiots, but at the same time, we could use some help figuring this out. And you guys comment below what we can do or what you think it is. And hey, we might shout out to you and say, hey, so-and-so said we're going to try this, and we'll try it. Well, we're not vain. Everybody needs a little help here and there, and we're just seeing what we can do. Thank you, guys. Like and share. That's it for Bros Garage. I fix and stuff. We'll see you later.